Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to our science class. Before we proceed to our new lesson, let's do the starter. Click this link and do the activity. The time limit for this activity is only 3 minutes. Today, we're going to learn about Lesson 4.5, Early Astronomers and Discoveries. On your student book, it is on page number 82 to 83. For the learning objective of this lesson, first, define astronomy. Second, identify the discoveries and works of different astronomers. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to define what is all about astronomy and identify the different discoveries and works of different astronomers. For the next activity, read the definition of the following keywords using the glossary of your book. The keywords are astronomy, universe, theory, telescope, and gravity. So you can do Google search also to find the definition of the following keywords. You need to read and practice. You know already what is all about solar system. The solar system is made up of 8 planets with the sun at the center. There are 4 inner planets which are the planets closest to the sun. These are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And the 4 outer planets which are the farthest from the sun are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. But how we know about the solar system? That will be our lesson for today, all about astronomy. Is astronomy. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond Earth's atmosphere. That includes objects we can see with our naked eyes like the sun, the moon, the planets, and the star. Remember, astronomy is the study of the stars, planets, and moons. Studying astronomy. These are astronomers. An astronomer is a scientist who studies astronomy. Most astronomers work in observatories with telescopes to collect information from what is in outer space, especially planets, stars, or galaxies. An astronomer analyzes the collected information and uses it to help us understand how the universe behaves.
Nicholas Copernicus was a Polish astronomer born in 1473. He was the first astronomer to discover that Earth revolved around the Sun. Other astronomers thought that the Sun and other planets revolved around the Earth, but Copernicus knew that wasn't true. He wrote a book on his discoveries and gave it to close friends before his death. Years later, Galileo Galilei, an Italian astronomer, added more information to the idea that the Earth revolved around the Sun. He also pioneered the developments of the telescope. He learned how to polish and grind the lenses of a telescope so that he could see the stars and planets more clearly. One of Galileo's biggest discoveries were the moons of Jupiter. In 1989, NASA sent an orbiter to Jupiter to study Jupiter and its moons, and the spacecraft was named Galileo.
Based from the video, the two famous astronomers who investigated and contributed in the world of astronomy, there were Nicolas Copernicus and Galileo Galilei. Now, it's time to study some of the astronomers also who investigated about the solar system and the stars. Let's begin to Ptolemy. In 150 AD, the famous astronomer Ptolemy believed that the sun moved around the earth. And in the year of 500 AD, an Indian astronomer, Aryabhata, had discovered that the earth spun on its own axis, but he still thought that the earth was the center of the universe. Another astronomer, in the early 11th century, the Arab scientist Ibn al-Haytham made observations and calculations that questioned the idea of the earth-centered universe. By the 15th century, scholars like Al-Kushi have found more evidence that the earth moved around in the sun. And in 1514, the Polish astronomer Nicolas Copernicus also put forward this theory, but many people did not want to believe him. Nicolas Copernicus was thought to be crazy when he first stated his theory that the Earth was not the center of the universe, and the planets actually revolve around the Sun. You might think he is not all that correct either, but you need to understand that in his time, the sun and the planets were as far as we could perceive as the observable universe. Copernicus was a mathematician and astronomer whose book on the revolutions of the celestial spheres was published just before his death in the year 1543. It earned a place among the works that advanced science and made an important contribution to the scientific revolution. Still, it took 300 years later for people to actually believe he was right. His theory would later be called the Copernican Revolution, as it powerfully shifted man's perceived place in the cosmos. For his extraordinary gift to the human knowledge, he is often acclaimed as the father of astronomy. A few years later, the Italian scientist Galileo built a more advanced telescope based on an earlier one he had seen. You've studied earlier that the astronomers used telescope to study solar system and the star. Using his telescope, he discovered Jupiter's four largest moons. He observed the moons moving around Jupiter. The evidence supported the ideas of Alcousi and Copernicus. Finally, in the 17th century, the mathematician Johannes Kepler confirmed the motion of the planets around the Sun. And another astronomer, Isaac Newton's laws of motions and discovery of gravity, provided a scientific explanation for the work done by Alcousi and Nicolas Copernicus. So these are the different astronomies and their discoveries who contributed a lot in the world of astronomy. Remember, astronomers are the scientists who study the universe and all of the objects within it. Most of them, or the scientists, have proved that the Earth moves around the Sun. For your notebook activity, answer the student book questions 1 to 3 on page 82 to 83 of your book. Write the answer in your notebook. For your next activity, you will do in the live worksheet. Click this link and complete the activity. For your assessment, click this link and do the assessment activity. The time limit for this activity is only 3 minutes. For the plenary, let's do Mentimeter activity. Click this link to complete the activity. You're going to write what you have learned from the lesson, and the time limit for this activity is only 2 minutes. For your homework, complete the workbook activity on page number 73. That's all for today, my dear students. Thank you for listening and have a good day.